Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is directed by the various directors. You got Peter Ramsey, Bob Persichetti, and all them. Yeah. And it's produced by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who were the guys that did the Lego movie. And this movie is an animated film. This is the first animated Spider-Man film made by Sony, and it's actually set in an alternate universe. Where
own version.
It's basically set up their own universe of Spider-Man movies, where you have the character Miles Morales, who is, if you know from the comics, he's the mixed kid, or he's the half Mexican, half black boy who eventually takes over Spider-Man. And in this film deals where you have Miles Morales, who, after some stuff goes down with the actual Spider-Man, we won't go into spoilers, he ends up getting to become Spider-Man himself by getting powers similar to him, and basically he got bit, and he ends up discovering that there's a multi-dimensional universe that has been opened up. This portal is opened up, and other different Spider-Mans from different dimensions come there and try to get it taken care of. Due to
Kingpin
doing this,
trying to do this thing where he's sucking all the universes together, and it can blow up the world and stuff. And he kind of does something at the beginning, not going to really spoil anything, but it throws some things out of whack. And you guys seen in the trailers with all the Spider-Mans all together. You got a Spider-Man pig, a Spider-Man
from
kind of neo-noir.
So and they all have to pretty much come together and help Miles take down Kingpin and stop this dimension, or else basically this dimension, if they end up staying there, they end up dying. So they have to find a way to get back to their worlds. So now here's some backstory. Now going into this, I actually kind of got interested with this because I'm a longtime Spider-Man fan, and growing up from the comics and also the anime series and everything, and from what we've seen with Spider-Man the last couple decades, we've seen that they've had various changes from over the comics and also in film. They had the live-action ones, which were the Sam Raimi ones, and then you had the other ones with this Andrew Garfield, and then the new ones, which are with Tom Holland in the official Marvel universe.
I'm not familiar with the cartoon ones. I remember seeing them on and off.
There was I remember the animated series from the 90s, which was good. But this one, they decided that, much like with Venom, they wanted to pretty much do their own unique take on Spider-Man in the universe. So they decided to do it as its own universe by doing it as an animated film.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, when I first saw the trailers, I mean, I'm not going to say that I didn't care about anything else going on, but the whole comic book look and the visuals, and I saw the trailer in 3D, same as I saw the movie today in 3D. That was pretty much what I was looking forward to the most.
Yeah, because when I saw the previews, I was like, this animation is like very different.
It's like a comic book.
It's a comic book, but it also seems like they're doing a throwback to old school to traditional animation mixed in with different hybrids like CGI, even animated.
I like some of the comic book parts. Like if you pay attention on some scenes, it looks like sometimes you can almost see like it's a mixture of the comic, and you can almost see the person's real life face almost blending in.
Yeah.
So it was kind of really weird seeing that.
Yeah, and also
it was neat in a good way. I'm not saying it's a bad way.
So all the way from the get go, I was already on board with this, and much to my surprise, like this movie, I actually thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's I don't know how I'd rank it right now for the other Spider-Man films, but it's it is very solid.
I'm not gonna rank it because I want to keep those separate. That's live action.
Well, yeah.
So,
but going into this, the
voices or acting was great in this film.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of people I didn't know was in this, like Nicolas Cage and Chris Pine.
Chris Pine's in this as Peter Parker in One Dimension, and there's also there's other voice, the guy from Moonlight, I forgot his name, Mahershala Ali or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's in this movie too.
He's in everything now.
Yeah, and you also got Liev Schreiber who plays Kingpin in this, and so they all did fantastic. I think they all really captured their characters well. And
everybody's cast was great. The story I got into with the whole universe thing was pretty neat.
Yeah, the progression that Miles goes through in this film, the way that he's having to adjust to his powers and everything. It's a long process for him, but he slowly starts to get used to it.
Yeah, the process of build up was really good.
Yeah,
there's some emotional scenes that I mean, he you lose before you triumphant type
Yeah.
storyline, which I always love in every type of movie.
And-
I thought they did that well in this film.
Yeah, they did. Now, I'm not really too familiar with the comics, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this, follows like
Anything, yeah.
exactly what happens in the comics when they do it this. But when they do this, not only was it very emotional, but it was also a good twist when you find out what happens too.
Yeah.
So that was great. And this
Yeah,
movie's
it
like
was.
unpredictable a
Yeah.
lot because there's a lot of things that keep coming back and forth throughout. Like you're really, it kind of goes batshit insane, but in a good way.
Yeah, in a good
you know?
way. Yeah, I agree with you. And there were some overly violent parts where I didn't expect to happen
Yeah.
in certain parts. But
There was also
visually stunning, like we were just saying earlier. The
animation.
the animation of the comic book look of the film was probably my biggest highlight of this whole entire movie. I saw it in 3D tonight. We did, and it was fucking made it even 100 times better experience, and I had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely, and plus I like the way that they combine different hybrids because there's also elements of anime that they actually use anime characters in this, combining with actual animation,
Exactly.
which played it really perfectly.
One of Spider-Man's is noir, so you get that whole black and white kind of noir look, and I liked how they captured him when they did his story. And it was also kind of nice to see a couple villains that we know from Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention, just surprise.
Yeah.
But that was nice to see some of the classic villains.
And what's cool too is that we finally get to see, Kingpin, who, if you remember, he's been in a lot of incarnations of Spider-Man in the comics and stuff, and he's really been big on like other areas outside of Spider-Man, like in Daredevil and recently with Daredevil and Punisher and all them.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I've seen him actually be in an actual Spider-Man film, and not only was Lee Strider great as the villain, but I like the motivation they give him too. I thought
and
really
not
worked.
to leave out that he's currently the big villain in Spider-Man 4 game.
Yeah,
video
we're
game.
still playing that one, and he's a tough son of a bitch when you fight him in that.
But I don't know. Do you have any?
There's other things. I do like the score as well because it kind of it mixes a lot of different there's parts where it kind of like toward the end it has like this kind of arcade type music playing, and the score really shines as well. And I also got to really hand it to the 3D, like you were saying. It really gives you like the mindset of being inside this world. Like it really it pops out and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that's pretty much what I got on my pros. It ain't much you could really talk about without spoiling. As far as my cons, I do gotta complain about a couple little things. I did feel like whenever they brought all these cool spiders, different takes in Spider-Man and Spider-Pig and all them, when they come and have to join forces with Miles Morales to get everything in order.
Yeah.
I did feel like when they started getting them, it was pretty much some of them they just like threw in there and there wasn't much backstory.
Yeah.
And it was just pretty much there to get to the end.
I know that is one thing I wish they could have elaborated more on, because like all these other ones they bring in for these dimensions and stuff, they don't really. It looks like they're going to set them up for a sequel in the future, which would be cool. I just wish we could have developed them a lot better.
Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Development on some of the spiders were not.
Yeah, because you get their quick backstory, which is cool and everything, but it was all just to set up, for them to advance the plot along, which is cool. But I really wish we could spend a lot more time with these.
And not only that, another thing I complain about is the spider that we see Miles Morales get bit by a spider. What is that fucking spider doing roaming around? Dude?
Yeah, it's never. I'm not really. It's never really explained like where that one came from. So that was not really clear. But other than that, there's been. Without going really much into spoil, that's really the only thing I can really kind of go over with, because the story itself, like, it really gripped me a lot with everything that went into it. It's very basic because they're just trying to stop the dimensions and stuff.
And overall, the entertainment is there.
It's got a lot of humor too. That's great.
The humor works really well. The entertainment, it's not 100% entertainment for me. It's probably 80% entertainment for me.
Yeah.
I'm not the strongest anime type fan. As you guys know, you don't ever see me watch or do a lot of these, the cartoon versions of shit. But I still like some of them.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big diehard fan, and so the entertainment was there. It just wasn't. It probably is as strong as it is. So,
yeah.
With that being said, I'm gonna go low. low compelling grade on Film Freaks meter.
Fair enough. I'm going with a high compelling grade on the Film Freaks meter. And we do highly recommend it.
Yep.
For those of you who have also seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and also some of the other Spider-Man films as well, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like, subscribe to our channel, and check out some of our other reviews here and our website at filmfreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review.
All right.
Later. See you later.